Alright, hello and welcome to the postgrad year. Today we're going to be talking about the Commonplace Book, and yes, my version's a binder, but we're going to be talking about, Commonplace Book titles. So, this is what we're going to be looking at today, and what we're looking at is Commonplace Book tutorial. So, I'm going to read through the things on the left-hand side, which are basically the keywords. I'm going to read the thing at the top, then we're going to go through the rest of it. So, why, how, starting, DIY, other. So basically, the way this works is Commonplace Book Tutorial is the standard title. Although, the words can be mixed around and there might be other words in there. But no matter what, the most popular word is why. Which is kind of funny because we're doing a tutorial and everybody wants to know why. Why are you doing a tutorial on Commonplace Books? I guess that could be one. Why I am doing a tutorial on Commonplace Books. But, Commonplace Book tutorial, why? Mix it up. Although, you should probably have Commonplace Book as, one thing. But anyways, remember we're going to start at the top. It was 23 items, now 24, and will be 22. This is just a note because I do all of that digitally, and then I handwrite it here. Just because we're looking at thumbnails on the computer, and then, not looking at thumbnails when working on a binder. I'm a little worried right now because my heater turned on and I think the bathroom was bleached and a whole bunch of other stuff is going on and I'm kind of tired, but we're gonna get through this. It's all good. Okay. So, deleting number 458 because no white text on screen and face too close to camera. So, basically, the person did this and there was no white text on screen, which is a problem because when it comes to Commonplace Books, you need the white text on your screen. Please. If you're going to add text, make it white or black, preferably white, and it does the best. Unless you're from Brazil, and sometimes white text still does the best. So, it's just, if you're in Brazil and you speak Portuguese and you're making Commonplace Book videos, you could probably get away with just being like red, yellow, green, blue. Doesn't matter as much. But when interacting with Americans or Brits and making content for them on Commonplace Books, it seems like we interact with white text in the best way. So whenever I go through one of these sections, I delete the worst performing thumbnail. And so the one that I got rid of was 458 for the reasons I just said. But now we're going to get down to making subfolders, which is the last thing. So, almost done with the video. Not exactly, but making subfolders. One Y, one item. Red book with gold decoration, held up with one hand in an office or library, plus white text, and arrows towards the book. This is actually really funny because, I'm recording in a totally different time as to when that video was made. And also when this video will come out. But what's really funny is the person who made that video, or the person who I think made that video, because the information isn't written in front of me. I think they just made a video saying that they are not going to be doing Commonplace Books anymore and instead doing stuff on Obsidian. It's going to be more personal knowledge base related. So that's interesting. Although I'm saying personal knowledge base, I think they said Obsidian. It's kind of unrelated. That's a little bit of a tangent, but it's kind of interesting how sometimes someone can make the best book on Commonplace Books, or the best video on Commonplace Books, and then just be like, I'm not really feeling this, and then they just leave. It's like, you got 500,000 views. All right, more for me, I guess. Get a solid 5 from that. Or, people would just be interested in that specific person and never touch the subject again, and yay. Who knows? Subfolder 2 is how. Now, this is crazy. This has 12 items. Now, I don't know if you remember, but Y only had 1. So we've already gone through 13 items, which is crazy because they're only 23 at the beginning. Which basically means anything after this is not garbage, but it's not recommended. It will have a substandard result, most likely, unless you're just great. Yeah, so number 2, how 12 items as 4 subfolders. And so these are basically subfolders. And so the way that these work is instead of it being Commonplace Book tutorial how, it'll be Commonplace Book tutorial how keep. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's not just how, but it's also keep. Or how and start, or how and use, or how and other. Like, you mix them together, obviously, with other. Same thing I said earlier. Doesn't matter, that's the garbage that goes at the bottom. Not necessarily garbage, but, if we're doing direct comparisons and, acting as if the two videos are fighting each other, which they kind of are for views, then they're just not good. So the first subfolder is keep with 3 items, large blocky white text, high view counts, only show book and materials for best results. So that means there's a little bit of variation, but if you show the book and materials and nothing else, that does the best. Which is kind of weird because it's like on how to keep something. So you don't include the person, you don't include where the thing is stored, you just place it on a desk with materials. Kind of silly. The next one is start. This one has 6 items. So again, we're more than halfway through, so anything below that, just kind of ignore it. But start, 6 items, high view count, smaller and less blocky text, half use chapters, and long titles. So it might be that these do poorly because they have one of these other problems, like only half of them having chapters, or the titles are too long, or smaller and less blocky text should be slightly larger and more blocky. Just guessing. Based on something I wrote down in November of 2023. The next subfolder is use. So remember, this would be how use for Commonplace Book tutorial. So it'd be like a tutorial on how to use a Commonplace book or something like that. And just mix it up. Use 2 items, high view count, longer time, and titles is better. Physical book is better. So that means some people probably did some sort of digital or edited thing. Generally speaking, if you're trying to make something on authenticity or by hand, or not professional, you should probably make it look like what it says it is. Ridiculous. And then the last one is other, which is 1 item, and we're just going to ignore that because we don't know what that is, and that's all the way at the bottom. All right, subfolder number 3, escaping the subfolders. We have number 3, starting, 5 items, shorter titles do better. Account with checkmark did best. So if you have a checkmark on your channel, then I guess you'll do better. So who would have thought? DIY. Oh, I remember that one. Number 4, DIY is 1 item. Showed a rectangle on screen with text. Why? I have no idea. But, it's not all the way at the bottom, so it's not the worst idea, although it's probably not the best. And then finally, number 5 is other, which is 3 items. Basically the don't do those kind of things. And I didn't write those down, so we don't know what those are. But yeah, ones at the top, probably check them out or try them out. The ones near the bottom, probably don't. So anyways, that is it for the video, and that is also it for this set of 10 Commonplace Book data videos, all about the thumbnails, titles, and descriptions on Commonplace Books, Commonplace Binders, Zettelkasten, personal knowledge bases, anything else, although specifically made for Commonplace Books. In the future, I will probably be adapting some of these titles for Commonplace Binders. I will mostly be staying away from Commonplace Books, not trying to, take anybody's turf. Not like we have turf, no mafia wars. But, generally speaking, it's a good idea to not make the exact same titles as people. Part of the reason I started making these videos in the first place on this specific subject is because it seemed like everybody was making the same titles, especially people with videos in the top 20, which was making me a little crazy. But yeah, I wanted to see what I was doing wrong, what other people seemed to be doing right. And, you know, we just finished the 20th one. I plan on doing at least 50, because I've already sorted 50. But I might go up to 100. Probably won't go past that just because, you know, when handling a data set under 500 items, if I'm deleting over 100 of them, because remember I also deleted some at the beginning. Not remember for you, dear viewer, if this is your first view, but people who have been watching for a very long time know that I have not collected this data in the best way, meaning it was not super well organized at the beginning, and I definitely deleted a lot of stuff, sort of on purpose, sort of by accident. So it's not exactly 470, it's probably a lot more like 450 or 440. So if I'm eliminating another 100 items, there's not going to be much data to look through. So we're definitely going to do at least 50, unless, of course, these videos get a lot of hate comments, in which case I might just not do that. I might focus on something else, but we'll see. I did decide like 10 hours ago that I was going to post twice weekly for 2025, which is crazy. Although, you know, 2023 was monthly, 2024 was weekly, and I guess 2025 is going to be twice a week. Somebody told me to do it daily, and I was like, are you crazy? Like, no, if someone makes 15 minutes of content per week, that's all I want to see from them. I don't care. Like, no, it could be amazing. I'm done. You know? I don't want to see more than that. But they were like, oh, you should make something every single day. But you know, they've never made anything on YouTube, so I don't know. Might just be passive aggressive or have no idea what they're talking about while also talking about it. But then again, I am showing up being like, hello, I'm the titles guy for Commonplace Books. So I at least think I know what I'm talking about. So anyways, just remember to verify everything before you use it. You know, just search it up, make sure everything makes sense. And yeah, generally speaking, just have the title and the thumbnail and the description and the actual contents of the video match each other. They don't have to be the exact same. But, you know, if you're going to talk about a thermostat, probably don't have a picture of a water bottle, and have the description be about some cat you rescued off the side of the road and then bought stuff for on eBay. Not based on a real example, although it does kind of feel like some of them are exceedingly random like this. So this was another 2 minutes of rambling, which probably killed the watch time. Yeah, so hope you're doing well. Have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye.